Good morning, everybody. So, we are in the Gospel of Mark. I'm trying to keep it a little short today. I've got to make my way up to the Ellensburg Rodeo. Final day of the rodeo, 100-year anniversary. Should be pretty cool. Chapter 12 of Mark, verse 13 says, Then they sent him some of the Pharisees and the Herodians to catch him in his words. Again, these guys are trying to catch Jesus to find some reason to execute him. When they had come, they said to him, Teacher, we know that you are true and care about no one, i.e., doesn't worry about the opinions of other people. For you do not regard the person of men, but teach the way of God in truth. Is it lawful to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Shall we pay or shall we not pay? But he, knowing their hypocrisy, said to them, Why do you test me? Bring me a denarius that I may see it. So they brought it, and he said to them, Whose image and inscription is this? And they said to him, Caesar. And Jesus answered and said to them, Render, which literally in our Greek is to give back. Render to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. And they marveled at him. So, in short, they're trying to trick him. They're trying to catch him because the Herodians are there. Now, these are the faithful followers of Herod, and Herod was a faithful subject of Rome. The people hated Rome. The average Jews, including the Pharisees and the Sadducees and the Zealots and all the like. And they didn't like paying taxes to Rome either. And they knew if Jesus said yes to paying taxes, well, it wouldn't sit well with the people. But if he said no to paying taxes, well, that wouldn't sit well with Rome. And so they knew they were asking him a question that really didn't have a good answer. Like the old classic one of, are you still beating your wife? No. Well, wait, that means I was. Yeah. Well, that means I am. And you're stuck in a sense, and they try and give you a question that doesn't have a straightforward answer. But Jesus comes up with this marvelous response, Well, whose picture is on there? Oh, Caesar's. It's a picture of Caesar. Well, then just give back to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, but give to God what belongs to God. And, he was trying to get to the heart of the issue, where their hearts were at. And a lot of people, money is a big deal in their hearts. I can't say that I'm not affected by it, that I'm not affected by money, and that when money is good versus when money is bad, how that can affect me and just my personal, my emotions and just how I feel. Like, obviously, when money's tight, it can be tough, and that's very natural of us. But we're called to be supernatural. We're called to trust God for all of our needs, and it's not easy, and it's definitely not natural. But again, God's not trying to make us really good natural people. He's not trying to give us our best natural life now. He's trying to make us live supernaturally, to make us live by faith, to believe that God will provide all of our needs, that God has everything in his hands, that God has everything under control, and that just doesn't come naturally to us. Should it surprise us when we need to render unto Caesar that it's something we dislike? Paying taxes, paying fees, and paying some taxes that don't even seem right. Why is it that, you pay tax on something and then you sell it to someone else and they're supposed to pay tax on it again? I thought we already paid tax on this thing, and there's all these little things, and it can be frustrating, and dealing with like building codes and permits and stuff. I mean, and what we find though is that all of this really comes back again to Romans 13:1, 1 Peter chapter 2, it's like verse 12, somewhere in there, right? That we should obey the governing authorities. That unless it's an issue that is something where it's defying God, we should obey. That means speed limits, That means, well, all laws. We should follow the governing authorities and their laws because we shouldn't really be known as rebels. We should be known as different. We should be known as being against the grain, but rebellious is not the heart of the Christian. It doesn't mean that we can't fight back against wickedness and evil, right? But just that general tone of rebellion is not something you saw in Jesus. Did he flip over tables? You bet. We talked about that just a few days ago. But he laid down his life. He seemed to only stir things up when he needed to. And so they tried to catch him, but he turned it around on them to take it away from the big issue that was frustrating people and really just bring it back down to the heart. That does your money have dead presidents on it? Well, then give it back to the government that printed it. But give to God what is his and trust that God will give you whatever you need. So, yeah, a short lesson on trusting God. All right. Well, that's all for today. Like I said, I'm off to the rodeo. So, you guys take care. I'll see you tomorrow, 8 a.m., right here, live online. Adios.